Hey, welcome to Assurance Overhead Doors. In this small video, we want to show you exactly where you need to lubricate your garage door and what you need to use to do it. Many times people have garage doors that are loud, they're squeaky, they pop, they bang, they make a lot of noise, and a lot of it can be remedied with just some simple maintenance that a homeowner can do on a regular basis. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to lubricate the hinges, and those are pretty easy to find. As you can see right here on this door, right in the middle, there's actually 3 rows of hinges, and then as well as hinges on the left and the right where your rollers go. The first thing that we want to use when we're lubricating our lubricating our hinges, we want to use this, it's a garage door lube is what we recommend. It's a 3-in-1. You can get this at most of your hardware stores, Lowe's, Home Depot, places like that. And it comes with a nice little, basically stem right here on the end for you. But on this one right here, we're going to do all of the hinges. So this is going to be one of your hinges, and a lot of times people, where exactly do I lubricate the hinge? But basically, you're going to just spray the general area where the hinge separates as the sections go up and come back into the track. So these particular areas right here will get really dry, and they'll begin to make, of course, squeaking noises. So you've got those. You want to do these particular general areas here as well. So again, with this stuff right here, what's nice about it is it will evaporate a little bit over time, but it will leave enough lubricant behind that will keep your door nice and quiet. And this is recommended doing every 6 months or so. Another area that makes a lot of noise that people have a tendency to never find, right here we have what's called a drum that your cable rolls up on. This right here is your torsion bar, and that torsion bar goes through this drum and in through what we call a bearing plate. And you can see it on this side here. There is also a bearing right here. So if I can get over here close enough. And basically what you want to do is just lubricate that bearing. So as that torsion bar turns inside there, that over time can actually cut that torsion bar if you don't keep it lubricated. Another area that can make some noise that people don't notice is in between the springs. Another big thing that I want to touch on with springs, if you have a 2-car garage door, you should have 2 springs. We have some companies out here that only put 1 spring on their doors, and when they break, you're pretty much trapped. So a good quality company is going to put 2 springs on your door if it's wider than 12 foot. But right in between your springs here, you have a little bit of a gap, and there's also a bearing right inside of here. And so you're just going to spray a little bit of the lubricant right in between there, and that will also help that bearing not to squeak as they get dry. And then secondly, we want to lubricate the rollers. And what we recommend with the rollers is basically a white lithium grease. This one right here looks like it's made by WD-40. But basically, all of your rollers, and if you have a standard 7-foot door, you're going to have 10 rollers. And kind of where you're going to lubricate these are going to be right in the race of the roller. So I can get that a little bit closer for you. But basically, you're just going to spray this right up inside of where the race of that roller is. It's okay if you get a little bit on the outside. It's not going to hurt anything. So you're going to do that down each one of these rollers. And I know we don't have very good light right there, but that's probably the best one. Now, there are some manufacturers, there are some door companies that, believe it or not, they put in plastic rollers. They have no ball bearings. They don't have a race. All it basically is a piece of plastic on a steel shaft stem. So if you have that, there's not really anything you can really lubricate with that. Those, usually when we go to homes and we see those, usually we recommend that people replace those with a good quality roller. Do your rollers once a year or so. Don't really need to get into doing that every 6 months. Once a year is more than sufficient for these. Another thing that we see a lot of is your track system here. You want to keep this nice and clean. We go to some homes where people have just put a bunch of grease inside of here because they're trying to get their door quiet, and all that does is collect a bunch of dust and dirt, and then it doesn't allow the rollers to really roll up through that track like it's supposed to. I always tell people it's kind of like when you drive in the snow. It's kind of hard to drive in that versus a good clean summer day, and you're going up and down the road. So those are some areas that we recommend that you do as far as lubricant as a homeowner. Again, you want to do your hinges at least every 6 months. Do your rollers, do your bearings at least once a year. And that will help keep your door nice and quiet but also help just with the overall functioning of the door. Those particular areas, your rollers and your hinges, are probably the most neglected areas of a garage door, but yet they're the most vital. So again, if you have any questions or you have a bigger problem than what you have here, feel free to give us a call at Assurance Overhead Doors. We can answer your questions. Like us on Facebook. And if you have any garage door needs, feel free to give us a call at 918-259-5050 if you're in the Tulsa or Green Country area. Again, thank you for choosing Assurance Overhead Doors.